What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Resident Darrell, and I got the bearded nerd with me. What's up, Zach?
What's going on, everybody?
Once again, we have recorded the show in reverse order, and it's funny because I do the intro and I don't ever think about it first. I just kind of shoot from the hip, and I literally did the exact same intro twice in the first show, or in the first half and second half of the show. So people are going to love hearing that. But now it's just you and me, the Bash Brothers, the Brothers of Destruction. So the Bearded Beasties. I don't know. That one.
Two beers, one bat.
2 beers. Oh, that might be tomorrow night. I don't know. We'll see. So it's you and me. Kali's out. You know, we are definitely keeping her in our prayers and, keeping Jim in our prayers. We want to give an update. I know I say something later on in the show, but yeah, Jim's doing better. So better is good. We'll be wishing him a 100% speedy recovery. Joe is out in Boston. It's so funny. Whenever I say that in my head, I'm thinking of that, Show Me What You Got from Limp Bizkit. He said, I got lost in Boston looking for the Tea Party.
Oh my God.
I almost made that joke earlier with the interview. I didn't know if they would get it. I didn't know if they would think it was funny. And it kind of started off, as most interviews do, you know, it seems like everyone's trying to figure it out, you know, it's like, but either way, we're going to end the show with an interview, some more game devs, as we promised, Type 3 Studios. We had a great conversation. And we had an even better conversation off mic after the fact. I really wish we would have been recording that one. That would have been some good stuff put out there. Nice Resident Evil talk. But this is the Loot Bros Podcast. We talk about games. We make fart jokes. We tell poop stories. I mean, it's definitely kind of a thing we've been doing lately. Definitely keeping you on the up and up. What's happening with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard?
Oh my God, they finally finished. They had their closing arguments yesterday. And man, I tell you, if Johnny Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, was not like the most baddest woman in the planet in her arguments, she is just like stone cold and is freaking amazing.
Well, I didn't watch it, so you'll have to let me know what's going on.
They're finally done with the closing arguments. Everybody's presented all their witnesses and all that. So now it's just waiting on a jury's decision.
Interesting. Well, you know what? That kind of threw me for a loop. It's funny because I've been watching it. My wife's been watching it, and it's weird because my wife had no interest in it at first, and here we are on the show every week, given the what if the turd wasn't from Heard, you know. And then all of a sudden my wife's watching it, and then our graphics department at work, our creative director, she's been watching it. And so anytime I have to go into her office and work on something or get, information on colors for a job or something, it's like it's going on one of the screens in there. I'm like, I can't escape you, Johnny. I can't get away from you. But definitely, that's the thing. It happened. Someone pooped in the bed. That's really all you need to know. Outside of that, we are the Loot Bros Podcast. You guys, please check out our socials. Zach has been doing a great job keeping things going in the Discord, keeping things going on the Instagram. Check out the Facebook group, Loot Bros Podcast. You can join it. It is technically a private group, just so we don't get any of the little spam bots in there. But all you got to do is ask, and we'll let you in. We don't hold back. And then the Discord there, if you go to our link tree, which we posted in the show notes, you can join our Discord. There's an unlimited invite in there. Discord is slowly but surely growing. We're getting some great conversations going on in there. It's been nice to see that, nice and steady. If you can go to the YouTube, give us a subscribe on the YouTube, help the YouTube grow. That one's been a little back and forth lately. It's like, we'll gain a few, we'll lose a few. We'll gain a few, we'll lose a few. Foo. I don't know what Foo is. Foo Fighters. We don't have any of those either.
Egg Foo Young?
Egg Foo Young. Hey, you know what? That's some sleeping dog talk right there. So you want to toast, Zach?
I do. I'm going to toast this week to I finally got a battery for my PSP and a couple of games, so I am working my way through those, and we will talk about those shortly. I also want to toast to Kalai and Jim. Apparently Jim's surgery went well. So I want to toast to that, and just toast to the two of us having a great night tonight.
That's right. 2 beards, 1 toast, if you will. So, here we go. So, tonight I am drinking a lime Bellevue from Aldi. And if you take some lemonade Mios and you mix that up in the Bellevue or Bellevue, it tastes like Mountain Dew. It is amazing. And it's super clean, so I can have it on my diet. It's awesome.
I am drinking a Mountain Dew energy drink. Their Orange Breeze, and it is
Okay.
very low. It has no added sugar. It just has natural sugar from the fruit juice. And yeah, it's really, really fantastic. It does make me burp a lot. The carbonation is heavy in this one.
Nice. So, Zach, normally we start what you've been playing and I have everybody go and I go last. Tonight, I'm going to start us off. How's that sound?
I like that idea.
All right. So, A, I have a lot of cool things to talk about that I want to talk about. And B, you've been playing PSP and I want you to close us with some PSP talk because I love it. So, as for me, I have been playing some Sleeping Dogs. I beat it. Pledged is pledged. Sleeping Dogs is an absolutely amazing game. So thank you, Enzy, for pledging me to play Sleeping Dogs, a game that has been on my backlog for years. I adore this game. I cannot wait for us to do the Super Loot Bros episode where we do our little deep dive on it, which, I guess our review conversation. It's so good. Such a good game. I'm so glad that I didn't play it without audio. Like granted, there's a lot of it you can play without audio, but like that's one of those games I could have played during the show and just not really knowing what was going on. But I loved the story, and I love the gameplay. So it's such a fun game. All right. I got not 1, but 2 platinum trophies since the last time we recorded. I got the platinum trophy in SpongeBob Hero Pants on the lovely PS Vita. And then I got the platinum trophy in the Complex, one of those Whales interactive games. So,
or as Tricky would say, or I'm sorry, He Who Shall Not Be Named would say,
He Who Shall Not Be Named
is a rat game. Yeah, right, Tricky. Get out of
spam.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
It was funny. I listened to Trophy Horrors with you on it, and he was like, he's been playing rat spam. And he started listing games and was like, well, clearly you don't know what these games are. He said Stubbs the Zombie was the rat spam. I'm like, dude, not only is that an OG Xbox game, but it's hard as balls to get the platinum.
You mean the 100%? Or is it actually on PlayStation? Is that what
it's not, the remastered version came to PlayStation.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's awesome. It's a fun game. Actually, I've been playing that one since the last time we were on the show. It's a fun game. But like the platinum requires a speed run, a 2-hour speed run, and the game 2 or 3 times during my first playthrough, like glitched and broke. And you have to do the speed run in one sitting. You can't go to the main menu and come back in. And one of the trophies requires you to beat it on the hardest difficulty, which isn't impossible. But again, I was playing on like normal. There were some parts that were very frustrating. So, and then one of the trophies is to get 100% on the dance number where you dance off against the commander of the army or whatever. And the first 3 waves of the dance off, easy. The last one, it was just breaking my brain on memorizing the patterns. And I was like, you know what? Not going for the platinum. I got 27 out of 35 trophies. That's plenty for me. So, so like I said, I got 2 platinums. I played and beat Dead to Rights Retribution. Now, granted, that's the game I've been chipping. I had already beat the game before, and I was chipping away at it, but I didn't know, so I played on PS Now for a while, and I played offline on my PS3 for a while, and I wasn't sure if my save file on PS Now was the same as my PS3 file. And I wasn't sure because last time I played, I wasn't sure if I uploaded it. So I ended up beating the last couple levels again. And then I went through chapter select and started like you have to get a gold medal on all the chapters, which I've gotten half of them. I've got gold medals on. And then there's like trophies I was working on for like collectible badges, stealth kills with the dog. I got a couple trophies. I picked up 2 or 3 of them. Nothing crazy. Dead to Rights Retribution is a game that I will platinum. I just kind of chipping away at it. And I played some Lego Harry Potter on the Vita.
How you liking that?
It's pretty good. I just kind of had like an itch for some Lego games. And I was like, man, I didn't know what I wanted to play. I thought maybe some Jurassic Park, but we're getting ready to go to Universal in a couple days. I was like, you know what? I'll play some Harry Potter. And I don't know. I didn't want like sometimes the Lego games can be a little complicated for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like they're like super easy. And then it's like, here's this thing that's like breaking my brain to make the next event trigger. And it was kind of frustrating. But for the most part, this game's pretty straightforward. So the way that the Lego Harry Potter games are broken down, there's years 1 through 4, and then there's years 5 through 7, which for those of you who are not familiar with Harry Potter, each year is essentially a movie. So Order of the Phoenix, Sorcerer's Stone, Deathly Hallows 1 and 2, blah, blah, blah. So I am playing years 1 through 4 on the PS4 remaster with my youngest son. I'm playing 5 through 7 on my Vita at work on my breaks when I'm not, reading and doing loans and stuff like that, which is not very often. But this week, got some trophies, did a little bit. And so I'm going to be taking my Vita with me we're going to Georgia, spending a couple days in Georgia, then we're going to Florida, spend a couple days in Florida, then we're coming back. So I'm going to be taking my Vita on my travels. And I'll be chipping away at that game for sure. Next up on the list, my wife and I, it's Brandy, started another Wales interactive game. This one is called The Shape-Shifting Detective. This one's pretty cool, Zach. Like, I know you don't currently have a PlayStation 4 or 5. And I'm hoping that, one day you are able in a comfortable position to rectify that.
I said, send me one. There you go, problem solved. I know you have a bunch of them hiding around the house. I
do. And if they weren't all being used, I still wouldn't do it. But I appreciate you asking because I like saying no. Games like this is what sets the PlayStation apart from everything else. And it's like, it's unique. It's like, you're not going to get this everywhere. I'm pretty positive. I'm not 100% sure. These Wales interactive games are not on Xbox. They could be.
I don't think so. I think it's PC and PS, PlayStation. Well,
if you can get them on PC, that's just as good. I mean, you play PC. But dude, these games are just so. And I say these games. These are the things that attracted me to PlayStation to begin with. Right? I was an Xbox guy. I've always been a PlayStation OG. I mean, I've owned every PlayStation console, handheld, everything. Like, I'm a PlayStation guy through and through. But that doesn't stop me from playing other places. And for a large extent, I really liked Xbox. But PlayStation always brought me back because it's always provided unique experiences that the other platforms don't. And these Wales Interactive games are a kind of like an example. Oh, good God. I've been fighting that yawn for a while. When that dude was yawning on the interview earlier.
Oh, my God.
I was trying so hard not to. And like, I've been sitting here talking, and it's like, this whole time I hadn't done it. I finally was like, you know what? F it. I gotta just let it go. But these Wales Interactive games have like, they're essentially movies. That's the best way to put it. It's all live footage.
I can get them on Xbox.
Dude, that's awesome.
I was just looking at Bloodshore, and you can get it on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to say for sure, you know what I'm saying? But like,
don't you disrespect Phil Spencer like that ever again?
I mean, he's got to do something, man. His first party ain't showing up, so he's got to go buy games.
He bought his first party.
But where are they at?
Modern Warfare 2 just got announced. Did you see
it? That's not exclusive. It's
no, but he'll be getting a big old chunk of change, and maybe
he will. But like, I mean, come on, where are they at? Where
they will be exclusive in the future, though.
We'll see.
I'll retract that statement because I did state last week on Trophy Hordes that it's not going to be like we think it is. Like, and you and I have discussed it before. They're going to still put it on PlayStation because they're still going to make a bunch of money, but they're just going to get the largest chunk out.
That's where the majority of Call of Duty is sold. So,
but I think anything special we're going to get just on Xbox.
I think you'll be lucky to get anything. Period.
We'll get it day and date. Watch.
I mean,
day and date Game Pass, baby.
That's happening, but good Lord, man! Like, what'd they say? How many years ago they said that y'all be getting new games from the first party once a month?
If you want me to trust in worldwide Jimmy Ryan, then
you have to. He's ours, y'all. Yeah, everybody wanted to get on the Game Pass train. Everybody wanted to say and feel they trust, but you know what? Worldwide Jimmy Ryan said, "Look, I'm in it for me. I need a yacht. You know how I get yachts? I get yachts from pumping out exclusives and making deals.
Gets yachts from pooping in beds.
Hey,
and countersuing for $100 million.
Whatever you got to do, man. Whatever you got to do." So, anyways, back to the Wales Interactive games. So, they exist on Xbox. Play them there. I mean, play them anywhere. They're just so cool, and they're so different. This one is you're as the title suggests, a shape-shifting detective. You can turn into whatever characters that you've met in the story. And so essentially you go through as whatever this character named Sam. Now, I'm not like spoiling anything because this is stuff you learned in the first 5 minutes of the game. You are a detective named Sam and you are investigating a murder. So you go through this hotel, bed and breakfast style thing, and you interview five different people. One of those 5 people are actually technically your police chief, but whatever. So then what you can do is after you've gathered information and stuff, you can go and change into another person and then have conversation with the people you've interviewed. And so, for example, you meet one character and they're like, "Oh, me and this character, our alibi is we were together." You go meet that other character. They're like, "Oh, my alibi is I was asleep in my room." So the alibis don't add up. So then you're like, "Wait a second, I need to turn into that character and then go talk to the other one and say, I'm worried about our alibis." And it's like an onion, and layers and layers and layers of the story are unlocked because you're tricking these people into thinking they're talking to their friends. It's very cool. My wife and I, we've been playing through these games together. And so last night she was like, "Yeah, let's freaking do another one." So we started the shifting detective, and this was a CJ recommendation. So shout out to CJ for recommending this one. This one's awesome so far. Now, as far as the acting goes, I mean, Jared and I, shout out to Jared, friend of the show, we've been kind of messaging back and forth over which one of these games has the better acting. And he said the Complex, up to this point, out of the handful he's played, was the best. And I would agree. I think the Complex does have some of the best acting. Shape-shifting detective is not bad either. So I definitely think that's one you should check out. We haven't beat it yet. We're kind of exhausting every dialogue option and doing all this stuff. So typically the way we play these games we'll play through them 1 or 2 times together. And then when my wife falls asleep, I will go through the trophies and kind of trigger as much as I can. So yeah, my wife, if she is conscious and these games are on, she's going to want to play through with no guide and do them from scratch every time. And even if that means we, retread some ground. So when she takes a little nap, I'm like, "Hey, let's go."
So your wife is a purist.
She is a completionist too. She doesn't realize it, but that's what she is. So, next up on the list, I played in 100% Home Sweet Home. This is a first-person horror game, a little psychological horror, not so much a survival horror. In the same vein as a Outlast and a Alien Isolation. No combat, not my favorite. Get very frustrated with stuff like that. But this one is a game that has like, so from what I understand, there's a game called Sweet Home from the 90s that Resident Evil borrowed some inspiration from. This game is Home Sweet Home. Now, I don't know if it's related to in universe with, the original game, but it's been in my wish list. It got, down to like 10 or 15 bucks on the PlayStation Network, picked it up. And then this morning I finished my last couple missions on Sleeping Dogs and I'm just playing through. Ooh, that reminds me. I got to get back to that for you. I was playing through some of the side content and I was like, you know what? I need to knock out a horror game. The kids are occupied. The wife's occupied. Brandy and my daughter Zoe, they went out to a dance recital. I was like, I got a couple hours. Let me just boom. This one's the first one I had on my list. Like, it's funny. I've got like a spreadsheet of like horror games and like the time it takes to beat them. But this one was the first one on my cross media bar. So I was like, playing that one. So, played it, completed it, went back and got all the trophies. It does not have a platinum, which is unfortunate. It's just got 11 little measly trophies. But overall, a good experience. I wouldn't do it again. So it was kind of like a one and done. So, decent. Played some Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Zach, this is one of the best looking games I've ever seen in my life.
I've been looking at there was a Ratchet and Clank game for the PSP that I almost picked up. It was
there's a couple of them. Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty.
Quest for Booty, that's what it was. But they announced Quest for Booty was going to be on the new premium service. So if they're going to be on there and I can play them on PC, I was like, I can hold off on those for now. But there's a couple of games that I picked up that we're not going to see that I know of yet. So,
it's there's also like remastered versions of it too available with trophies. So
I wanted to pick up Jak and Daxter.
Yeah,
and then they had just Daxter as well. Whenever they did that whole thing where he was by himself, and I was like, do I pick these up now, or are we going to get those too?
Because Special Agent Clank too.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get we're gonna get those Jak and Daxter ones on premium at some point. It wouldn't make much sense not to get those ones, seeing as they were such a staple.
Yeah. So yeah, they're cool, man. I like having all those. But play, like I said, Paxton and I have been passing the controller playing some Ratchet and Clank, and dude, it looks better than a Pixar movie. It is absolutely stunning how good this game looks. Jumping back to Sleeping Dogs, and then I'll be done. I beat Sleeping Dogs. I enjoyed it. I mainlined the story after about 10 hours. So the first 10 hours, I was like doing the story, doing some side stuff, doing the story, doing some side stuff, just kind of doing everything that was available to me. And I liked the game enough that I was like, well, I might go for the platinum on this game. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think I want to do all the collectible stuff, although I got about half of them my first time through. And then I was like, I don't know. I don't want to do the races. But I started doing some of the races, and they're all very manageable so far. So I was like, I don't know. But then as we were getting closer to the end of the month, I was like, I need to mainline the story, beat the story, and then I can go back. Well, I beat the story. So, and I'll elaborate more on this when we do the Super Loot Bros episode. But when you do the main story, you're an undercover cop in the Triad, and you're kind of doing gangster stuff essentially. If you go and play the blue storyline on your quest stuff, the actual detective stuff, bro, it's like a different game.
Yep, I did a little bit of it, and it's cool. Yeah, we'll talk more about it.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there because if people are listening to the episode and they're like, "Oh, Sleeping Dogs, that's from 2014. I don't know if I want to go back that far." Like, definitely play the game. And the cool thing is what Sleeping Dogs, and I'll say this again on the the Super Loot Bros, but on the mini map, you can click in your left thumbstick and it'll change the color of the path to the next objective. Green is mainline story, blue is like side story detective stuff, orange is races, light blue is drug busts and things like that. So like you can very easily select your next objective and just mainline the story.
Yep.
So I essentially mainlined the story, and then now I'm going back and doing all the dark blue detective stuff, and it's like another game, dude. It's so cool. It's so cool. So that was me. That was a lot. I played a lot of games this week. I did a lot of mortgage stuff, but I got up early in the morning and played games and played on my lunch breaks, went in between calls and contacts, and yeah. So I tried to decompress a little bit. Plus, I'm on vacation right now, so like I played games all day long today.
Jealous.
Yep. So now, what you been playing, bud?
All right, so I started the first Resident Evil game this week. I'm enjoying.
Nice.
I started my my Chris playthrough this week, so
Yep.
I am enjoying that. I have continued kind of slowly going through Battle Block Theater. That is also a little fun, like compressed game when I'm trying to find something quick to kind of go through before I knock out for the evening. Let's see what else. I have also been playing. So I got my PSP going, like I said. And for Memorial Day weekend, we have a set of stores out here in the Midwest called Vintage Stock, and they were doing a big buy two pre-owned games, get one free, and then they were doing mix and match too. So it was, I got a used battery, so my PSP could work off of the charger. And I picked up, which I'm currently playing right now, Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, because I felt like playing a Lego game, and I haven't played them in a while, and it actually made me super duper happy. I'm really enjoying like how all Lego games have that like funny side to them in like the cutscenes. I also started playing Justice League Heroes as well for the PSP.
That's actually a good game. I like that game.
I like it. It is hard though. I noticed in the first level, even playing on the easiest difficulty because I wasn't super familiar with the game. It's super hard to like direct your attacks and stuff like that. It's not.
Yep.
It's a top down beat 'em up. So.
Yep.
But it's a lot of fun. And then I played through today since I just picked it up, and I've never played a Siphon Filter game. I picked up Siphon Filter Logan Shadow, and unfortunately, Siphon Filter Dark Mirror wasn't working when I put it in, so I may attempt to clean the disc, and hopefully that'll solve the problem. But I put that in today. I beat the first level of that. It's got the old controls where you have to aim with the buttons and move with the thumbstick, and it is a little out of my realm. But the story at the beginning of the first chapter was good so far. And then I picked up the original Iron Man video game that came out after the first movie. I'm looking forward to going back through that. I remember playing that game on the PS2, and I remember it actually being a good superhero game. We talked about X-Men Legends, and I did look for that game, but I couldn't find it at either of the stores I went to. So
I got them sitting beside me right now. So good.
Well, I was looking forward to finding them because you were talking about it, and I was like, yes. I was like, Diablo with X-Men, please. Like, I will. And I just they were nowhere to be found. Both of the stores had a surprisingly diverse collection of PSP games. Some games I'd never even heard of. I almost picked up Battlefront 2 again.
I got that one too.
I almost did, but I don't know. I didn't. I was trying to keep my stuff on a slight budget so my wife wouldn't get too upset at me.
Oh yeah.
And then what else have I been playing? I played a little bit of Fortnite this week. Played a little bit of No Build with one of my buddies that I get to play with, not so too terribly much because he has like 55 million people that want to play with him. I got my first solo dub in no build mode on Fortnite this week, and
Okay.
we got 2 trios dubs in the same night. So that was got 3 dubs in one day. I was super duper happy with that. And I think that is all I've been playing because I beat Sleeping Dogs last week for last week's show.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is a good game, man. I'm actually currently playing it, so I'm doing races and side stuff, and I don't know, MZ. I might go for the platinum. I'm not wanting to commit to it just because I've got so many freaking games I'm in the middle of. But and I will say this, I'm just kind of throwing this out there for everybody. When that new PlayStation Plus Premium hits, I am turning everything off, and I'm playing Siphon Filter with Trophy.
When
That
it
is happening.
when it hits, I'm like I talked about it a little bit last week, like I said on Trophy Horse as well. I think I'm going to finally finish the original Spider-Man game,
Do it.
and I'm going to achieve my. I think I'm going to go for my first platinum because I think when I had the game originally in a PS4 originally, that was my plan was to make Spider-Man my first platinum. I enjoyed it, and I actually started doing certain things. Like I stopped playing the story so I could start doing things to earn the platinum. But then like I said, I got rid of my PlayStation and never came back to it. But hopefully we'll get to go back to it because I really did enjoy that game. And then who knows, maybe I'll plat Miles Morales as well. We'll see.
Well, Miles is an easy 20 hours, like pretty straightforward. Spider-Man, that's another straightforward platinum, and there's even ways to make it a little bit easier on you.
I just feel like there's a lot to do in those games with like the little like the gang bus challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm really looking forward to going back to it. I don't know if I'm going to restart it over again or if I'm going to continue where I left off because all my save data should still be on the cloud and it's still the same profile that I used. So I don't know. I may finish it off since it's a game that I still haven't actually beaten, and then maybe I'll go back through it again later.
Good game. Good game. I'm actually looking forward to that's another thing with the PS Premium service I'm looking forward to. I own the PS5 version of Miles Morales, and the PS5 and PS4 versions are going to be on there. So I'm going to go back through and play Miles Morales again with trophies and get the platinum on PS4. So I'm stoked.
Both of them have different trophy lists.
Yep, they have separate trophy lists.
That is fantastic. Let's see. I think that's like I said. I think that's all I've been playing. Like I said, I'm super duper excited for PS Premium. I'm just excited because, like we've talked about, I don't have a PlayStation, so being able to play some of those exclusive games that I know are good, like Siphon Filter is going to be one that I'm enjoying because, like I said, I enjoyed the PSP version, so I can only imagine that I'm going to enjoy the original game just as much. Being a shooter fan and enjoying shooter stories, so super duper looking forward to that as well.
I'm excited, dude. And so Tricky and I have been messaging back and forth, and we're trying to come up with our own NWO/Bullet Club for people who platinum the old PlayStation games on the premium service.
Okay.
So what we're trying to come up with, we've been kicking names back and forth to each other. But what we want to do is we want to, at least in our community, incentivize, the guys who are going to go back and put in the time on those old games. Now, we're not 100% sure what that's going to be called or what that's going to look like. But just so you guys know, there's definitely, that's something we're working on. And I want the Siphon Filter Platinum, and that's something that I want to, I know it'll only show up as like a little dot in Sony's notes, but I want to show them that, hey, we want this. The fact that you put trophies on your old PS1 games and the first one you announced was Siphon Filter, like not only like we need a Siphon Filter game, dude. And we need trophies on old PSP games and PS1 games and stuff like that. So I want to just kind of put that out there that that's something that we're going to do. So we're working on something cool. We're excited about it.
Yep, I'm that'd be something cool. I'd love to be included in that if I'll throw my name in the hat.
There you go, like a 1% club or a PS Premium club, or I don't know, PS1 Premium club. I don't know. We're trying to come up with something that's like, we were coming up with some trash names, some fun names. I mean, I don't know. We're working on it. We're definitely going to have something.
The
That just
PSX Poop Plat Club.
there you go. It's got something. It's going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to have that Siphon Filter Platinum. And the thing is like some advertisements have come out where Dino Crisis is being advertised. So
I've never played Dino Crisis either. So like I said,
dude.
so that's like the biggest thing is like you know what?
A lot of these games I own too. So they said when they become available that I'll just be able to access them a la carte as well because I already own them. So what I'm excited about is, with these older games, they're doing rewind functions. They're doing trophy support. I mean, it's cool stuff, man. I'm excited. So.
Yep, I need to get back to the household that was once whole. There was a very brief period in my life where we had a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, and a Nintendo Switch in the house. So I need to get back to that.
Yeah, man. So definitely, it's an exciting time, and I really also I would love this too. This is an idea I've had since the Frosty Tanner and Josh Craps days. I've always had this idea that we could do a book club with the audience, with the listeners. Okay.
Right.
Something that's easily accessible. So maybe we pick a PS Plus game, we pick a Game Pass game, we pick it used to be Games with Gold was one of those options. Now nobody wants to pick those because they're just bad. But I mean, something on one of these services or something where everyone has or at least the majority of people have access to. So that we can say, hey, as a community, we're going to play this game. And we're going to, on this date, do the big, that week's show would be us talking about that game. So all the write-ins could be specific to,
what that
game.
What they liked about it, if they had any gripes about it. Right.
So I would love to get to a point where we do that. And I think we have the crew now that would be interested in doing it. And our audience, I'm sure, would play along with it. So something to think about when this new service drops so that we have the option to do that. Maybe we can do a Game Pass game 1 month or, if it takes 2 months, whatever. And then the next time we do a PS Plus game or Plus Premium game or, something that's available everywhere. I don't know. Something to think about. So
I gotcha.
All right. So I just want to give an update. I'm going to do the backlog beatdown first, and then we can jump into the leaderboards.
Okey-dokey.
The backlog beatdown spreadsheet, something happened. It took a dive, and it is not allowing us to update it, and it is not allowing us to view what is already on there. So it still exists because it's still populating the scoreboard, but it's not allowing us to update it. So currently, while Jim is doing his thing and healing, and he's in the hospital and all that stuff, we don't have access to fix the spreadsheet. So if you're participating in the backlog beatdown, keep beating your games, keep posting them. Post them in the backlog beatdown group, post them in the Discord. And I will go back once the spreadsheet is live again. I'll go back and I'll manually, double check and add all that stuff. And we'll give a backlog beatdown update as soon as we can. Unfortunately, we just can't make that right now. Also, next month, maybe towards the end of the month, we're going to do the kind of backlog beatdown halfway point. So we'll get together, talk specifically games we've beaten, and we will solicit questions and comments from the audience based on the backlog beatdown games that they've beaten so far. So looking forward to that. We might even, maybe if, everything works out right, we might even have a little bit of statistical information for you. So we will see. Zach, you ready to jump into the leaderboards?
Of course, I am always ready to jump into the leaderboards. All right, we're going to start with the, once again this week, it is the Sony Pony to You leaderboards.
Oh.
So Mr. Sony Pony to You in first place with 3,735 achievement points.
Get it.
We got Sadik coming in second with 1,540 achievement points.
Nice.
I'm styling on you, bro, in third place with 1,005 achievement points.
Weak.
GDI Master Ace still on the leaderboard this week with 600 achievement points.
Nice.
And bringing up the tail end is the Alpha Seagull with 305 achievement points.
Oh wow!
And then your two Loot Bros truly are in 6th and 7th. So
okay.
Yeah, you got some more achievements for beating Modern Warfare 3 that you didn't mention in your that you were playing.
I didn't mention that. I forgot that I did that this week.
Yep.
Yeah. So I put an Xbox 360 in my bedroom and
Good man.
play a little bit of Xbox. I forgot why though. I think I wanted to play
you couldn't sleep.
Well, but I mean, I think I wanted to play Fear 2.
Okay.
And I don't know. I was just getting every now and again. I go through these like waves of like something nostalgic, hit me, or something. I don't know. Something triggered me wanting to play a certain game, and I just started like grabbing games. Oh, I remember what it was. So, Dead to Rights. I put in Dead to Rights on my Xbox 360 and was playing the first Dead to Rights game. And I was like, man, this is good. That's what prompted me to play Retribution, to try to go for the platinum. But then I was like, you know what? I got Modern Warfare 3 up here. I don't think I've ever finished that one on 360. So, boom.
There you go. I forgot to mention it earlier today. I was going to call you and ask you when I was at that store. I saw a Fear game for the PS3, and I don't know if you have it. It's not like a numbered one. I don't remember what it was. It was in
Fear
the glass
Files.
It might have been. It was in a glass case because it was worth I don't know. I think certain games that are on the shelves, if they're worth over X amount of dollars, they put them in a glass case.
Gotcha.
I will go back there and I'll have to ask you that. But
I have all the Fear games on Xbox 360. I just don't have them on PS3.
Well, I know since you're the collector, I figured I was like, man, I should ask Darrell if he wanted me to pick that up for him. But
I appreciate that.
Moving on to the True Trophies leaderboard, this week is a large deficit between first and second. So he tops the Sony Pony to You leaderboards, and he is topping the True Trophies this week as well. The affectatious Donk himself with 792 trophies.
Goodness. Good week.
Yep. And then second place, Stink Palm with 61 trophies.
Isn't it? Look at him.
And there we go. Third place is Resident Darrell with 46 trophies.
Not terrible, considering there's 2 platinums and 100% in there. That's not terrible.
Yeah. In fourth place, we got Redbeard Rick with 37 trophies.
All right.
And then on this leaderboard as well, I'm styling on your bro with 32 trophies.
There you go. Back. It's on the right side of the law again.
Surprisingly, we actually, chalking up the trophies, we actually have people earning trophies all the way down to 13th place versus the Xbox leaderboard, where you and I actually rounded it out at the end.
That's awesome. Yeah, our Xbox leaderboard, the people that are active, and that's it. There's a lot of people that are on the Xbox leaderboard that either don't play Xbox anymore or, well, they obviously don't play because they're not getting achievements anymore.
I'm just happy he who shall not be named remained not in the top 5 this week.
That's right. Right. He asked me what that was about. I was like, "You've never seen Harry Potter?"
He's like, "I get the reference, but why?"
And I'm just like, not be named.
You are just as bad as Voldemort.
I told him, I know it was so funny when Alex said that. I told him, I was like, dude, what it is we kept saying your name on the show, and Joe made the joke that it's like Beetlejuice. If we keep saying your name, you'll show up.
And he did.
Yeah. So
and he showed up last week. That's what happened.
I feel bad. Shout out Tricky. He's messaging me right now because we've been trying to hook up to play the Division. And he wanted to play last night, but I was out to dinner with my family. And then I was like, we can play tonight at like 11. And then I was like, oh yeah, we got all these recordings to do. I can't play the Division. So.
Sorry, Tricky.
We'll get there. It'll happen.
But that is our leaderboards for this week.
Sweet.
Ready to move into our community questions?
Yeah, we only got a few, so we'll finish up the show with a little bit of community love. Starting off with one of our patrons and good friends, Matt G. He writes in and says, what was the game that got you into gaming? For him, it was Alex the Kid in Miracle World on Sega Master System. The game that got me into gaming was Pong. Like, my mom and dad played Pong, Ms. Pac-Man, Galaga, I mean, we've had systems in my house my whole life, and my dad and I would play RBI baseball. We would play Double Dribble on NES, Narc on NES. So I've been playing games my whole life. Like, it's always been there. And my dad worked a lot and traveled with his job. So like when he would come home late at night, that's what we did. We played games. We couldn't necessarily go outside and throw the ball at 9, 10 o'clock at night. We would play video games. And then, that's just kind of always been a thing. So I play with my kids. That's just what I know. I could have been a pro football player, but instead I play video games.
I think I like you better playing video games.
I'm probably better at games than football.
Football Americano.
Yep.
All right. So what game?
I got you in.
Kind of discussed
a gateway drug.
Kind of assisted. Kind of listed this off before. My first ever game that I ever played was Super Mario Brothers 3. And that gave me my my love for like memorizing games and like actually getting good at something. So the first time, my mother owned the only console we had in the house was a Nintendo. My mother owned, and it was because oddly enough, my mother's favorite game was the first Legend of Zelda, and she had that one, and I never really got into it. But she also had Super Mario Brothers 3 and the original Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and all that good stuff. And I don't know why I just took. Like I said, I took to platformers when I was a kid. I think it's just because maybe it was like the easiest thing for me to learn as a child. As a young boy.
When I was a young warthog.
When I was a young warthog. But yeah, that's kind of like that was the first one. That's what got me my love. And then when I had my own gaming device, my Game Boy Color, Pokemon 110%. Like that's I will always love. Yeah, that was the one that really like made me want got me into like grinding for a game. And that was the first game that I actually, you know what? If we're talking the first game I ever 100%ed, that was the first game I ever 100%ed because that was the first game that I ever like completed everything 100% outright. Like I had completed the Pokédex, and then I played through that game about 55 million different times. I played through with every starter. I picked up Yellow Edition. I picked up the Yellow Edition. I picked up a link cable because my dad actually he had an original Game Boy, not a Game Boy Color, and I picked up all 3 of the original games, and that's how I complete. Because the thing was back in the day was, and they still do it to this day, is each game had certain exclusive Pokemon that you could only get. So you could never complete the Pokédex unless you had both games and a link cable and you traded with somebody. And there were only certain Pokemon that would evolve if you evolve with a trade. So that was if we're talking about a game that, like I said, that I platinumed, or my first 100% in my life would have been Pokemon as a child.
Nice. I would say first game I ever 100%. Oh, dude, I don't know. Like probably Resident Evil 2. Just because I did everything, like I beat the game every way you can beat it. I unlocked all the special stuff. So,
okay.
Yep. You let them bring OG Resident Evil 2 back with trophies. I mean, that's going to be me, dude. That's going to be me. So I'm friggin' stoked. All right. Matt G also asks, did you ever crap your pants because you couldn't put the game down?
No.
Me either. I unfortunately have not pooped my pants due to video gaming. But that's what a poop sock is for, Matt. If the Loot Bros were any kind of real podcast and really merchandise like they're supposed to, they would have a poop sock available right now, and then you could, in fact, poop in the sock rather than stop gaming.
Wait, you just came up with a really good idea. Why don't we get socks for merch that say poop sock on them? Or have a poop emoji?
JT's been asking for them for years. We just haven't done it yet. I
Yeah.
have a Josh Adams, our Comic Cast co-host and artist. He is drafting us up a poop sock shirt.
Yes, but I'm talking about like an actual sock.
Because the store that we use right now doesn't sell socks.
Well, you know what?
We just need to do one. We need a poop sock store.
we need to get that sponsorship from Gildan, right?
Yep, 100%.
That's what needs to happen.
Speaking of, shout out to MZ for posting a picture of him rocking his new Loot Bros podcast T-shirt.
Super excited when I saw that. It looks so cool. Seeing the first one in the wild.
It does look good. So that's very, very nice. If you have a Loot Bros podcast T-shirt, post pictures in the Facebook or the Discord. I like to see them junks.
Maybe we'll start doing a community, like tag us on socials if you want to be our listener of the week, and we'll post your picture up and give it a little. We'll post your picture up and give a little snippet about you, like like maybe your favorite game or whatever message you just want to talk to everybody about.
But we're gonna make it up, so you don't give us your real favorite game. We're gonna make one up. We're gonna look at your picture and say, okay, judging by this photo, this person likes blank.
Doesn't sound very nice. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. No one will buy our merch.
But it would be funny though, so that's all that matters.
Yes, I could agree with that. It would be.
So, all right. Jared, I Heart Amber Heard Geyser writes in. He says, everyone is quick to take Johnny's side over Amber, but animals sometimes claim their territory by going potty on it. What if Amber Heard left the turd not out of anger, but because she was trying to tell Johnny, hey, bro, I want to sleep here. Hashtag.
Hashtag, what if this turd is not from Heard?
No, it says hashtag, what if Heard wanted to sleep where she left the turd?
Oh, my God. This man, I swear, every week.
He should write a book. He should be dang Dr. Seuss over here writing books about friggin' Amber Heard's turd. So that's amazing. I don't know, man. I didn't think about it like that, If you break us down to just our bare instinctive nature, you're right. You're absolutely right. She could have just been not out of spite.
Marking your territory.
This is mine, Johnny. And where I'm from, this is what we do. So
keep them coming, Jared. Also keep the Hopper pictures coming too.
Oh my gosh, dude. That was shout out to Jared for that. That was absolutely amazing. And that is a beautiful banner. That sums up our podcast in a nutshell right there. That banner.
That banner gave me the inspiration for one of our posts this week.
It's so funny.
Asking what everybody's favorite poop story was. If you have a favorite poop story, make sure you go comment on our post.
That's right.
I want to hear what your favorite is.
It's so funny because if you're just a random that comes into our group for the first time, you're like, what the F? I'm out of here.
These weirdos over here talking about poops and farts and
why is this person pooping in the hopper of a garbage truck? That's weird. Or is it? Or they may, hey, I've done that. I can relate. So who knows?
It is New York.
That is true. So like they say, when in
no
Rome,
surprises.
When in Rome or when in New York, whichever one applies. So. All right, guys, that is all the community questions we have. Easy, short week. We hope that you enjoy this interview. We're posting the interview that we've already recorded at the end of the show. So JT, you know what? You're just going to have to tough it out and listen to it. There might be something special for you at the end. So I just want to throw that out there. For all you guys who turn the show off during the interview, don't. Give them a chance. You never know. It could be your next favorite game that we're talking about.
It's true.
Or your least favorite game. You never know. So, all right, guys. we're going to head over to the interview portion now. Oh, also, big shout out and toast to the Patreon producers ending the month of May. We got Redbeard Rick. My name is Effin Mayo and MZ. I got a new shirt, Nitro. We're out of here.
Thank you.
You're supposed to be like, oh, that was so clever.
Now it's time for the twat, 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 twat.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
It's the Loop Bros podcast. We're going to talk about video games and mow your grass. Loop Bros podcast. We're going to talk about butts and slurp and penis. So stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros podcast. I'm your host, Resident Darrell, and tonight I got the bearded nerd. What's up, Zach?
Heyo, how's everybody doing?
We're good, man. We're good. We got some great guests in the house tonight. We kind of, before we get too crazy, we want to give a shout out to Kalai. Thoughts and prayers, all that stuff for our boy Jim. Her husband, Kalai actually couldn't be with us tonight because her husband had to have some surgery, having some stuff going on. I know she posted stuff on Facebook, but we got reports that Jim is doing better, so we're all very excited about that. And then No Show Joe had to go hang out in Boston like a total nerd. So, but we have a couple developers with us tonight, and we are very excited to have them. So, we're going to start it off. We got Nick, Jim, and Eric. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Can't complain.
Good.
Awesome. Now, you guys are Type 3 Studios. Is that what it's called?
Yep. That's it.
Sweet. Awesome. So here's how we got met up with you guys. So Kalai went to PAX East on behalf of the Loot Bros podcast. And there's a company that she does like card games and stuff for. I don't know that she's ever actually told me the name of it now that I think about it. But Kalai goes to PAX every year, and she runs around and checks out all the games and meets people and all this stuff. And she ran into you guys, and she checked out your game. She's a huge Mario fan and a Switch fan and all that stuff. So she was like immediately reached back to us, and she goes, "Hey, I made contact with these guys. They were great, and I really liked their game. So what we want to do is want to bring you guys on, let you kind of introduce yourselves, tell us about what your journey into game development, tell us about your game, and tell us any other cool stories that you want to share and go with. So what we'll do is just to keep things organized, we'll go Nick, Jim, then Eric in the order that you're actually listed in the room. So Nick, why don't you start us off? Tell us kind of who you are and what you do and how you got into game development.
My name is Nick Zaleski. I'm I guess you would call me the, lead designer or creator of Marxist Twins. I've been a video game fan since I was super young, and oh crap, what do I say?
Anything you want, man.
We've been working on Marxist Twins for about 10 years now, and it finally came together a few years ago when we moved to Unity, and that's been kind of my thing, I guess.
That's cool. All right, what about you, Jim?
Hey, fellas. Yeah, I've been into game dev since I was probably about 17 years old. I always loved like the pixel art and like the Marvel Capcom fighters in like the early 2000s. I remember being like 14 or 15 years old and thinking to myself like, man, video games are so awesome and adults don't like them right now. But all my peers like them so much that I think they're going to matter one day. So I should try to make one. And that's pretty much what like put me on the road to, take an interest in dev. I'm the team artist, and I joined the team when we brought the project to Unity. So I've only been with them for a few years at this point. But yeah, everything you see when you see the game, if it involves a character and animation, I probably had a hand in it. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. What about you, Eric?
Hey, yeah, Eric, I'm like the programmer tech guy. I want to say also, thanks for bringing us on. Sorry to hear about Kalai and loved ones' health situation, but glad that it sounded like maybe getting better. Because yeah, it was super cool. She came over and like played the game, and just like I think was the first person to buy a copy of PAX. Like that was like we were like, how's PAX going to go? We got no idea what we're getting into, and it was just awesome to meet somebody who is so friendly and supportive right up front.
Oh, Kalai is awesome, man. She is, we got to give her a big shout out. Like she comes on the show and like she is a just game fan. Like she loves games, all different types. Dude, she's so involved with our community, and she's like always making contact with game devs and things like that. Like she's awesome. So.
Yeah. And I'll give you like a little bit of Nick and I have been working together for a long time, but I'll give a little bit more detail to the history there of like when he says 10 years, that's like we haven't been working on like the same version of the game for 10 years. We kind of like started it over a few times and like shelved it, and changed technology a couple times and stuff. So it's like the last version we started about 3 years ago. When we moved to Unity. So it's like kind of a thing of like we started it off, learned some lessons, kind of had to start over, didn't necessarily make like the best design decisions and stuff in the beginning or technical
iteration.
Yeah. And the other part of it is like that to kind of make that time frame make sense is like this is a hobby thing for us. We all got day jobs. So 10 years would be a super long time if we were doing this as our day job.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't super specific.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. No, so something we've started doing this year, 2022, as we start reaching out to more game devs and having them on, and all of us across the group are big indie game fans. And so we just decided, we were like, you know what, we're going to bring devs on this year. We're going to talk to indie studios, and like, just we want their games to get exposure. We play a lot of them.
Yep.
And so we're like, let's just start making friends with these people and get them out. And like, every time they got something to talk about, let's get them in the loop. And and it's, as I'm a wannabe musician, so I understand that like when you have a day job and then you're also working on your creative project in your downtime, you want to put your best out there, and then you want people to check it out because of the amount of effort and energy you put into it during all of your free time.
Too true, man.
Sometimes that's just so hard. And nowadays we're not, the playing field is accessibility across the board, and all creative outlets is so easy to get involved, and tech is right here in the home with us. We can create anything, videos, films, books, comics, games, music, whatever. But the problem is everyone's fighting for your attention. Everybody's fighting for your bandwidth. So it's like, if that's what we can do is give a time and a little bit of spot on our show for people to hear about, what you're doing. That's kind of we definitely appreciate that. And I love hearing that you guys have day jobs and you're doing game dev. I have a special kind of pull towards that. So I wanted to do this real quick before we go any farther. Start with Nick. What do you do for your day job?
I am actually a preschool teacher.
Okay.
Wow.
That's like the last thing I ever thought I'd be doing with my life. I had actually, before I started teaching, before I started substitute teaching, I had actually wanted to join the Marine Corps because my grandfather was a Marine. But yeah, I don't think I could make it without my meds. So
Understand.
I started subbing, and I eventually found out that I loved working with pre-K kids. I don't know how or why. I like to curse a lot and do
they
a lot
love
of, but well, not around them, but yeah, I don't know. There's just something about working with pre-K kids. It brings out the best in me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've got 3 kids, and I coach a couple different soccer teams. I did a stint about 6 years working in a church teaching youth. So I get that, man. I like. There's something about youngins that just some people it brings out the worst, and some people it brings out the best. So it's not for everybody.
Daryl's trying to say is he's the good
So,
kid on the
Yeah,
block.
definitely.
All right, Jim, what do you do for your day job?
Yeah, so I'm actually I just finished one job and I'm starting a new one. I was working for the FAA for the past 5 years, helping install hardware for air traffic controllers.
Okay.
Okay.
My most recent contract ended though, and I have a friend from college who's a successful freelance artist, and he saw some of the stuff I was doing for this project and some other projects I'm working on, and he's just like, dude, like, get good at ZBrush and I'll throw you freelance. And I was just like, yes, I'm going to get good because I don't like having to dress up when I go to work every day. So
yeah,
yeah.
I get that.
yeah, so probably in the next like 2 or 3 months. Actually, he said there might be a contract that starts in a week. So it's like, as you're asking me this, I'm literally like in between. But probably in the next month or 2, I'm going to be a freelance artist.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
That's exciting.
yeah.
All right,
I'm
Eric,
stoked.
what do you do for your day job?
I'm a software engineer. I didn't touch computer code ever until college. I tried a class, it worked out, so I just kind of went for that and made a career out of it. But basically, all because I knew like I wanted to make video games, like that's like my creative passion, and I knew programming was part of it. So that's like the reason I even gave it a shot. But that wound up becoming my career because it's just easier to find work doing that than the game part.
Got to pay the bills.
Yeah, I loved it,
Yeah.
and I hated it when I was in school for it.
So, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's the first time we've ever stopped and asked everybody what they do for to eat every day. So definitely glad you guys share that. Okay, so here we go. So you've given us a little bit of background on kind of like how you got into it. So why don't you guys tell us what is the project you're working on? I know you mentioned Super Marxist Twins. Where is it available? Kind of give us that pitch.
I don't know, Eric. Do you want to give the pitch, or should I?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the real short version is it's a parody propaganda platformer. Trying to make it all 3 of those things. It's available on Steam in early access currently. We think about 6 months to a year it'll be fully done. But while it's in early access, it's discounted down to $8, and yeah, that's where you can get it. Actually, there's a free demo too on our Steam page, which we keep up to date, or we try to keep up to date. It's not quite as up to date as the early access build, but it'll always be there. We're not going to like take that down or anything.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, how's the feedback been for
that? Positive. Like at PAX, it's like everybody that we put the game in front of and who actually like plays it enjoys it. I didn't personally hear this, but like Nick said that he saw some people go by and at PAX and go, Super Marxist Twins, okay, and that became like my favorite reaction immediately when he told me that. But but most people either kind of laugh or like do a double take. Like first they think it's Mario and then do a double take and like, oh, this is a different thing. And
yeah, can I step in for a sec?
Yeah, go for it.
I would say like in a whole of cloth sense, the character jumps, he can fall in holes, and certain things can kill him if he hits them. But after that, it really is its own thing, and in so many different ways. Like the game has a lot of minutia to like the way the animations work, or like where the hitboxes apply or how they apply. And that's something you really can't tell unless you actually play it yourself. Like when it comes to when it comes to a movie, you can give someone a feel for their experience with a trailer. When it comes to a video game, you can't really do that unless they hold the controller in their own hands. And this game is like crystal clear, or is just like a quintessential example of that. I'm not sure. Throw that in there.
I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but like the thing that strikes me the most is people are surprised that it plays well, and I'm happy that they're happy with how it plays, but I'm a little bit like, well, is there something we could do so that they didn't just assume it was crap to start with? But it might just be because it's a parody. That's just kind of what it's going to be at first glance, But that's about how it goes. I don't know.
Gotcha. So I unfortunately haven't played it yet. We thought Kalai was going to be here when we scheduled the interview, and she was obviously going to give her feedback on it. But just watching videos and reading some of the Steam reviews, I definitely gather from other people's opinions that it seems like it does play very well. As a matter of fact, some of the reviews said that not only does it play well, but you guys throw in some interesting mechanics here and there, and you do things that are a little bit different. At face value, it looks very Mario. The characters resemble Mario and Luigi. And, just from watching the videos, it seems like if you are into a Mario-style side-scrolling platformer, this would be right up your alley. And then just kind of reading, obviously, the write-up and description or whatever. When you guys say parody, like, what are you going for? Like, is it like tonally like humorous, or you actually have like some dialogue in there that makes it's poking fun at things, or what's kind of the overall theme?
I would say that it's mostly tonally kind of humorous. We're not trying to make like a intense like communist statement about society or anything.
Gotcha.
I mean, I just kind of thought that the whole idea, like the genesis of the game was that Eric tasked me with coming up with a game that a small two-person, at the time, development team could come up with. Of course, we've since added friends to the team, but the whole idea was it's like what would happen if a Soviet state development team were to develop a video game, and it's not super serious. It's mostly humorous.
Gotcha. Very cool. We like humor here, so that's right up our alley. So at first glance, I was like Super Marxist Twins. I'm like, oh no, is this going to be another one of those game devs that are like trying to make a statement? They're like, oh, we're gonna do our thing. But then as I was reading up on it, and it seems you guys were going for a parody angle, I was like, okay, very cool. So now you said that you've added more people to the team. How many people are on the team right now?
There's 4 of us. Sean, who not able to be here, unfortunately, is the 4th, and he was at PAX, and like huge shout out, because it was through an enormous effort on his part that we were able to pull off doing the show at all. I mean, he put in so much effort into and like brought his like tables and his tools and stuff for setting everything up,
and his wealth of experience and perspective at being at shows like that when he was growing up. But it was like with his dad, and his dad was selling like VHSs of like the Guyver and like I don't know Family Matters or something. I don't know,
like old like
something
old like
stuff.
horror stuff and old like
sitcom.
Back when VHSs weren't like something you just find at Goodwill.
Yeah, before
they were like the Blu-ray of the day. I think
before anime was on TV, Sean's dad had it on VHS, and he would trade it at the convention and stuff.
That's awesome,
dude. When you said Guyver, oh my gosh, that takes me back, man. Those 2 movies were so freaking good,
dude. It's Luke Skywalker. You know that, right?
No, really?
The Guyver?
That's Mark Hamill. That's Mark Hamill.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't know
man.
That.
And then the second one is Solid Snake.
I didn't know there were 2 of them
from Metal Gear.
One. Yeah. What was
David
his name?
Hayter.
David Hayter. Yeah. That's crazy. It's been so long since I've seen those. We actually a couple episodes back, someone brought it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was like a Power Ranger with freaking blades coming out of his elbows, cutting up monsters. I'm like, dude, that junk was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
So what a dope movie. Okay, so a small indie team, first game. How was it? And you guys said getting the pack sounds like, from the way you're describing, like it's a big achievement, and it was like a big milestone. I'm assuming from that it was your first time at PAX, and that went pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, it was our first time at PAX. I sort of decided when I heard like PAX was going to be in person again, that I wanted to do it. I had wanted to go to PAX as a fan for years, and I never really did. I just never really justified it. I got a son too. He's an adult now, but for a lot of those years he wasn't. So that was like maybe part of it. But when we decided to do it, we also decided like it's going to be a fair amount of like monetary investment and a lot of effort to do. So we kind of wanted to try our best to get it right and make and get as much as we could out of what we were going to spend. So we actually did a show in Philly 2 weeks before PAX. That's kind of like a practice. So technically, like that was our first show, showing the game in like in a booth. And then we, gathered some notes. We kind of regrouped in between, made some tweaks to our, video that was playing on the screen, and even a couple little tweaks to the game, and made PAX go a good bit smoother. And the experience of doing that was pretty beneficial. Though it's like there's no world in which like straight up selling copies of the game, and we were selling shirts and stuff too. There's no world in which like selling stuff is going to pay for, like, make that booth pay for itself. So it's all about stuff like this, like getting to do like podcasts, like getting to network with people, getting out there.
Cool.
So yeah.
Awesome. So, as far as the game goes, you said early access, 6 months or so left into that. Are you guys planning on bringing it to console or anything like that?
That's something we'd really like to do. But while it's in early access, it's just going to be on PC. I might expand out to like Mac and Linux builds in that period. I'm not sure, if there's some demand for that. But if we do, we really would like to do consoles, and if we do, that's going to be after the early access period is done.
Right.
Yep. I'd say that I know a lot of people in our community are big console players. So and they purchase a multitude of indie games on consoles. So if it does ever come to console, I can almost guarantee you that there are going to be quite a few people that listen to the show that are going to pick it up.
I would particularly like to see it go on to Switch, because
as long as that plumber doesn't have a problem with it, we should be good.
Yeah, there's that. That's definitely a constant concern. But that seems like a perfect console for multiplayer platforming with like the simple control of the Joy-Con.
Lots of people have said that too. Like Steam is like not the platform for platformers, but Switch is like literally, it's like the platforming mecca, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, on the bright side, the Steam Deck is slowly rolling out to everyone, so you guys will be able to.
Is that the thing where it's like Steam is like cosplaying as a Switch?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
But like a Gabe Newell size cosplayer.
My brother got a Switch, and I have to say, I think it's pretty cool.
Well, he has a Switch, but I think you meant the Steam Deck. He just got a Steam Deck too.
Or Steam Deck, yeah. Sorry.
Hey, but they both apply. Both are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Yeah, we got a lot of Switch love on this podcast, and
Nice.
in our community, the Switch is pretty popular. So you definitely would get some love in there. I mean, we have a bunch of PC nerds in our group too. So don't worry. Don't feel like you guys are in the wrong spot. So
Yeah.
question now, early access. Now I am not overly versed in early access. So obviously it's a open-ended setup where you can make changes and adjustments to the games based on feedbacks, but do you incorporate like Steam achievements and things like that into that build, or do you wait until the version 1.0?
The achievements might come during early access. I'm not really we're not really like hard committing to what comes when, but they would be towards the end of it. We would wait till at least most of the game was done and maybe just a little bit of polish was left or something. That would be, I think the appropriate time for it, because, there's just like certain concerns about like if you make an achievement for a certain thing and then you go back and you change an earlier part of the game, you could kind of mess up the logic for it. I mean, that's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of, I don't know, is what it is. It just seems easiest to sort of wrap my head around, for lack of a better way to put it, to just wait till the game's like just about done and then put those in.
So, are you taking credit for who's going to be putting in the triggers and things like that for the achievements? And
I mean that would fall under my purview, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm talking to the right guy then. So, out of curiosity, out of the three of you, do you guys like are trophies and achievements and Steam achievements, things like that? Are those important to you at all, or is that something that just they pop up? They're just
I enjoy them, and so on Steam I've got I think 20 perfect games. That's not a lot, but for a developer who doesn't like get to play games a whole lot, like I'm kind of proud of that number. But a lot of times it's sort of like a lot of games I just bounce off, or certain things I'll play the game and I'll just get to the end of it and be done. Especially like your AAA like cinematic thrill rides or whatever. I tend to just kind of play through the story of those and be done with them. But certain things, if the mechanics are really satisfying and I can kind of really get into it, I might go hunt down all the achievements. I think the most recent one I did that for was that Jedi Fallen Order, which is like a Metroidvania 3D action adventure game.
Oh yes,
very nice, very nice. So when
I'm kind of the opposite. I played Half-Life 1 like 13 times. I played Half-Life 2 around that many times. Sorry, I completely butted in there, but go on.
No, you're good. You're good. No, so I was going to ask kind of like what, like one thing I don't ask enough, and this is, I'm a huge trophy and achievement fan. One of our kind of frequent co-hosts who kind of comes in for a few weeks at a time. He's the number one trophy hunter in Australia and one of the top achievement hunters in the world.
Crikey.
And so, what?
He said crikey.
Yeah. And so and we've had some of the other top 10 trophy and achievement hunters in the world. We
actually have somebody that holds the record for longest time playing video games. He holds the Guinness World Record for it in our group.
That's right. Yeah, we've had
wow.
we had Corey on. So we've had a bunch of people on, and so in our community we have some of those, top hunters in there. And so I always forget, even as a fan, to ask the devs, like, what is your logic behind it? Do you have influence, or is it like, oh my gosh, I've been working on this forever. It's one of the final things I need to do. Let me put in some triggers and some checkpoints and that pop these stupid digital trophies for these people and just be done with it.
So my job is to put them in. I kind of want the other guys to come up with the reason for them, but
I find I would say like when it comes to a creative process, like if you're like say writing a book, what you want to do is you want to create a really good story. You want to create compelling characters or have a meaningful theme that's conveyed through your narrative. And when it's done, you think of the title. And I feel like achievements are probably the same idea. So like We want our gameplay to be robust. We want our hitboxes to be fresh. You know, we want someone to play it and we want it to pop, and we want the people to be like, damn, I want to play it again. And once we've hit that point, what those achievements should be will probably seem far more apparent. Because if we were to say, go ahead and make achievements now, but then we change and refine a few elements of the game, those achievements might lose their relevance.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
I think that brings up something that I had never considered, the idea of achievements or anything besides that before. But for a game like ours, I think they'd be, it would warrant something like a timer or something, which would probably be pretty easy to add. And
or you could.
Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud.
No, you're good. Or I don't know if you guys are going for like a high skill player base, or if
Our project definitely tests your mettle, if you will.
Okay.
It has 3 levels of difficulty, but if you put it on the highest one, your grandma ain't gonna play this game.
Okay.
See, that's really cool, because you don't get a lot of platformers that have that type of mechanic to them. They're a set.
Right,
they
dude,
get harder as you go through.
Make sure you mute, because I'm hearing a lot of other stuff. Oh, sorry.
Say that again. I'm so sorry. You're saying that they get harder as you go forward. Is that what you said?
Right. Yeah. So a lot of platformers as the levels develop. So I think that's a really, really cool mechanic that you guys had added to the game, to be able to pick out what difficulty you want to play the game on, or if you want to just kind of cheese through the first run and then be like, okay, that was cool. Let's see how much more I can challenge myself. I think it's going to give your game as a platformer a little bit more replayability.
I think so too, and I would attribute it to just the nature of Nick's design, because we have this like item collection mechanic that lends into your capacity with projectiles, and that's a scalable metric. So in the easiest mode, you only have to get 1 resource, and you're able. I think it's 1 or 2. It's like some low number, and then you're able to have a projectile. And your character is suddenly armed to the teeth. You're basically Rambo. You can just like blast your way through the levels, and it's great. But if you're playing on the highest difficulty, you got to get probably 6 or 7 of them before you can do any kinds of special attacks. And at that point, you're basically just you're just a platforming character with 1 hit point, and it's very difficult. So, I would say Nick's design is what lent to our ability to do that so easily.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
And then another thing that's as weird as this is to say, it's going to be kind of important for our group. What is the average? Well, I don't know if you guys have enough data to kind of get this out, but what is the average time it would take to play through all of the levels you guys currently have in the early access?
The biggest difference that I've seen between people who ace it first try and people who need tries it was basically that. There are some really good players who can kind of sail through the early levels, and they'd probably get through what we have now in an hour, or maybe possibly a little more, if they were able to maintain really kind of blasting through the levels.
Hey Eric, can I interject real quick?
Yeah, sure.
When you were looking at that, did you actually see which difficulty level they were playing it on?
I'm talking about people playing at the show, and we only had the game available at the show.
Okay, fair enough. Just for perspective's sake.
Yeah.
But okay.
But there were definitely, there's definitely for a lot of people, they kind of need to churn on the first few levels a little bit, because those levels are designed to kind of teach you mechanics and stuff.
Okay.
And that adds, so the time would vary pretty widely, but I would say if you're really sailing through it, by the time we're done the whole game, probably be a couple hours, and it's probably about an hour or a little more now, and in terms of just numbers, we have a little over half the level done that we're shooting for.
Okay. Say, Darrell, you can't play this game this year. Sorry.
We've got some competitions going on between us and another podcast. So just out of curiosity, if you don't mind, just kind of running down the list of you guys, what would be some of your favorite games? I guess starting with you, Nate. What would be some of your favorite games?
Half-Life 1 is a huge favorite of mine. That's part of the reason why we have a level editor included with our game. That's like one of my favorite aspects of our game is that there's a level editor, is because Half-Life 2 was so big because of mods. So I like that. I liked Yoshi's. I pretty much like all the Mario games, but Yoshi's Island is the one that on Super Nintendo is what brought me over from Sega Genesis to Super Nintendo. If anybody's old enough to remember that, but yeah, those are some big.
I'm 37, so I grew up with all that stuff. I had
Nice.
we had
Okay,
an Atari in the house
Hey,
playing Pong, and we went NES, SNES. We did the whole nine.
Yeah, and I feel like the last great modern video game made was Alien Isolation.
oh no.
That was a scary fucking game. The game scared the shit out of me, and
It was. It definitely was.
and it wasn't just that. I liked the AI in it, like being able to like mess with people that were still alive and like draw the alien out to kill them. And
Dude,
the game had some like pretty sadistic elements to it that I thoroughly enjoyed. But I'm gonna. But yeah, that's pretty much what I can go for. And I play a lot of retro games. I've got a flash cart from my old DS that I play a lot of Super Nintendo games on.
Sweet.
All right, Jim, what about you? What are some of your favorite games?
Yeah, sure. I would say like from the days of old, the very original Legend of Zelda is a personal favorite. I find like the way the mechanics work when you're in any room of a dungeon, it's like a puzzle every time, and you've got to like figure out the moving patterns of the enemies and just engage with them, and it's very, very engaging. The original Sonic the Hedgehog, I love that. Geez. Final Fantasy VII, that might just be like a nostalgia thing, but that game has like a really deep, dear place in my heart. As far as like modern games go, I love Fez. That came out in like 2012 as like an indie game. And also Hyper Light Drifter. And then as far as like games that are a little more well known, like AAA stuff, let's see. I love Death Stranding and Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I have like about like 700 or 800 hours in that game. I play it like online, just like 1v1 matches.
Yeah.
The mechanics in that game are utterly robust. They are as robust mechanics in a fighting game I've ever experienced. It's not even really a fighting game. It's like a platforming fighter that's kind of like sumo wrestling. But anyway, yeah, that game, it's great.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. All right, what about you, Eric?
Yeah, for me the best part about gaming is the variety. So I love to try everything from like AAA games down to indie games. If I got to pick like favorites, I got 3 favorite kind of genres or categories. It's like roguelikes, Metroidvanias, and immersive sims.
Okay.
The immersive sims are like Deus Ex type games. And if I had to pick a very favorite game, I'd say Dishonored.
Okay.
I don't think it's the game that does any one thing the best, but I think it's the best like blend of systems, the way everything interacts, and the way it accounts for the player sort of being able to do anything with the tool set.
Very cool. Very cool. Did you ever play Prey?
Oh yeah, Prey was also really, really good. I would say actually in some respects that game like technically was better. Like Dishonored 2, I love the story and the setting and everything, but like the technical execution of it was awful. It had so many bugs I kind of couldn't play it until like I got a new computer a couple years later.
Gotcha.
But I like the setting and aesthetic of Dishonored so much that I always mention that one. Like Prey was really well done. I really like those.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So, just kind of rounding out with a couple other, questions we have for you guys. Unlimited time, unlimited budget. What is your dream game to make? And you can't say the one that you're working on right now. Starting with you, Nick.
Oh, that's pretty. That's tough. I'm gonna give you the same episode. Wait, does it have to be a game that has not been developed? Could I go back and revise something?
You got unlimited time and unlimited budget. You can do whatever you want with it.
You could do a
I would like to, as much as I hate the concept of rebooting, I would reboot Aliens Colonial Marines.
There you go.
That game was a shit show.
You know what? I want to stop there for a second. What is going on with all these alien games? With the exception, the exception of Isolation. Okay, I know now. My audience knows I didn't love Isolation, but I'm a huge survival horror fan, and I don't like playing games that I can't defend myself. So it really wasn't until I got the flamethrower in that game that it really started to pick up for me.
You complained about that game the whole time.
I played it on easy, and I had plenty of flamethrower fuel, so it was just like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
But I still tried to sneak around when I could.
Dude, that thing was so crazy. It always knew where you were at. I had to drop it down to easy too because I was getting so frustrated because it's like you couldn't fart in that spaceship. That
I found if you hide under desks, if you were to hide under desks, the AI had trouble finding you as opposed to hiding in lockers or other places.
But so I just recently beat Aliens Fireteam, and like I don't know if you remember the Alien versus Predator beat 'em up game from like it was an arcade cabinet. I don't know.
On my birthday,
just played that. Yeah,
we played that at Barcade in Philadelphia.
Dude, so that
me, Nick,
so
and his brother.
To me, that's the best Aliens game we've ever gotten.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's good. It's hard to argue that we should get better stuff than what we get with the Alien franchise.
I would just like to cite that at the very beginning of this interview, I mentioned one of the things that got me into this was the Capcom 2D pixel art from the arcades in the early 2000s.
There you go.
That's like some overlap going on here, man.
Yeah, it's funny because like my brother and I we're huge Alien and Predator fans, right? And it's like there was a certain point in time where like Sega Genesis Alien 3, not a terrible game, not a bad game. I liked it. The Alien versus Predator arcade game was really really good. AVP on the OG Xbox, again, not a bad game. The Aliens vs. Predator Requiem on the PSP, not a good game, but I still play it, even though it's not great. But it's like between the movie franchises, and the games, it's like we just can't. They can't be consistent. And I just beat Aliens Fireteam, and I'm like, what a boring game! Like this is such a rich...
It had nothing new going on for it. It was
no. And it's so frustrating because it could have been great. Like it was like some of the environments, especially towards the end of the game, were awesome. It's like, oh, once we get into the hive and once we get into like, but it seemed very.
I don't think it was terrible, but I feel like it was kind of weak. But go on.
I agree. And that's the problem. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was just like, okay, this exists.
Yeah, and Aliens is a great movie. And it's like great movies deserve great video games. Sorry.
No, I just want like an Aliens game to come out and it just be like, I want to walk out. I want to walk away from that game the way I felt when I walked away from the second movie. Aliens, like, dude, Corporal Hicks rolling out, freaking just blowing these things' heads off. Like it just, to me, there should be like a World War Z style game that where like you go and you go into these. God, dog, almost like a Starship Troopers setup. You know what I'm saying? Like you just go bug hunting. Like I don't know. I don't know why we don't get. And again, Isolation, for all of my gripes with the Alien itself, the game was very well made and it did what it set out to do very well. And it had several jump scares. But again, getting into the hive section was like my favorite part. Whenever you get into where there's face huggers crawling around. And there's tons of aliens, and there's just I don't know, man.
You could actually kill the face huggers.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah,
cool.
Alien should lend itself so well to like blasting apart aliens because that's what they do in
First
the movie.
person, dark, spooky areas.
We were kind of talking about this. Actually, we had dinner earlier, and it's sort of like some games. It's like it's trying to go for this tone, this like serious tone about the high stakes of like, I don't know, you and your friends or something, and then you spend every other scene like killing a full army's worth of people.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, okay, you know, there.
It's like, well, you just killed 500 people, but thank God we're alive.
Yeah. Or like, I think the example was like The Last of Us 2 was like, it's just this heavy plot about like, what does it put this character through for them to exact revenge on somebody? But she's got to kill her way through like 40 people to get to the person trying to get revenge on. So it's a little hard to believe she's like really that torn up about whether or not she can go through with it in the end. And, but you know, like you don't have that problem with something like Aliens, or you shouldn't anyway. Like it should,
Right.
it already tonally lends itself to like kicking ass, you know.
Elbows and assholes, people.
There you go. All right, Jim. Then unlimited time, unlimited budget. What are you making?
Oh man, so I don't actually have unlimited time and unlimited budget in reality, but our next project is going to be a vision that I've been creating, and I don't really know if I want to reveal too much about it actually, but I would just say, yeah, I don't. Do we promote this right now, Eric? Do I give the elevator pitch of this, or
I don't think
what do you
I think there's too good a chance of it becoming like something different than what you said.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I'm sorry. Can I pass? I'm so sorry.
I mean, hey, that's fine. I'll take
Yeah,
the money
but-
and the time.
Hopefully, in the future, we could talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Eric? Unlimited time, unlimited budget. What are you making?
Yeah, that would scare me. Because I feel like I would probably, you know, if something's unlimited, I mean, I guess the limit is just me. Like, do I want to work on something for like the rest of my life, or do I got to rein it in no matter what in order to get something done? So, I mean, so the thing would be really cool to make. I kind of feel like just something that's just super extensive, kind of like maybe a Mass Effect or something, hopping around planets. Only like, I would put a little more interactivity into like actually exploring things. I'd probably like make players like learn languages as they go or something like that. And I love like things that are like investigative. So, you know, I love the Batman Arkham games, but I felt like the part they fell flattest on was like making you feel like the world's greatest detective. Like Batman's the world's greatest detective. And in that game, like you kind of just hold like the detect button and follow the trail or whatever. So like, you know, I really like things that like, you know, maybe actually like give you some clues and you got to put it together. So there would definitely be an aspect of that to it. But
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I can only talk in like vagaries because like I don't know what I'm designing until I start designing it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I love the Arkham games, but I love a good detective story. And actually watching the new Batman movie and how they kind of leaned into the detective side of things. Also, tangentially, they released Batman the Imposter, the comic book series. And that was just like a boots on the ground, like detective story. It just, for me, I love that stuff, man. I wish we had more just straight up detective games. Like, you know, I think.
Yeah. There was a few cool elements to the first Condemned game. It's like Condemned Criminal Origins, I think. That was cool because you kind of had to like scan around using like your camera and your like blacklight or something. And I don't know. It wasn't like super extensive, but it was cool. It was immersive and stuff.
Yes, I like that a lot. It reminded me of the movie Resurrection with Christopher Lambert.
Oh, did I?
Detective movie. Somebody's cutting up people and trying to rebuild like this body part amalgamation of the body of Christ. But that's what Condemned remind me of in setting, not so much in concept, but just like going to these little crime scenes and it getting that very black and white tone going on. And
So
you
what's
having-
this movie called again?
There's a movie from like the early 2000s called Resurrection with Christopher Lambert. Yeah, it's
Sounds like it's got Seven vibes.
Wait, is Christopher Lambert the Highlander guy?
yes. So if you can imagine the Highlander guy, fresh off of all that, 80s and 90s hype, and then doing a Detective Seven style movie. Yeah, it's totally that. It's cool.
So to make anyone happy, if you haven't yet, the closest thing we've gotten to like a detective style Batman game, if Derek, I know Darrell, you can't stomach VR for very long, but if you play the Arkham VR game, it's only like 2.5 hours worth of playtime on it, but it does have the detective elements when you're trying to solve certain things, where you actually have to look around in the environment as Batman and try to find the little bit of evidence you need.
Yeah, I'll have to try that one because I like VR. My buddy bought me a copy of it. If it's the same one for like PlayStation VR.
Yep.
But I don't have. Yeah, I don't know if it needs the Move controllers. I don't have those.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think I used my DualShock.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to give that a try because
it's very good and it's short, but it's very cool and it is exactly that. It's just the detective elements.
Yep.
And and it was cool because I get motion sick real easy, but that one had like the zapping system, so you didn't actually walk in VR. You just kind of pointed, clicked, shot over to a section, and then you looked at the crime scene from that perspective, and you kind of rewound the footage that you develop as you're investigating. It's very good. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's not cool.
So, all right, guys, we're kind of getting to the end of the time that we have with you. Is there anything that maybe we didn't bring up that you want to talk about? Anything that you kind of want to push or pimp out with your game?
No, I mean, well, not just for myself. I'll say I'm good, but I super appreciate the chance to come on and talk with you guys. Yeah, like we said, our game's on Steam and hopefully coming to other things. When we're done wrapping up, actually making it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it on Switch.
Very cool. I would love to see it on PlayStation, trophies and all that good stuff. But hey,
yeah.
Whatever.
Well, if you can make it on Switch, you can make it on anything.
There you go. So, Zach, you got anything else?
All right. So, you guys developed another game, correct?
I mean, well, we've each done a little bit of stuff with various other projects, but nothing commercially.
Okay, so what is Lost or Found?
Oh, okay. That's a game jam that actually Sean and I put together in 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Okay.
And yeah, Sean again is the one who couldn't be here, but basically, I sort of had the idea of how it would work, which is basically just it's a sort of a dystopic future. You are just sitting at a computer and your neighbor is someone who's, I guess, like undocumented. They work, manual labor jobs and stuff, and they wind up in a situation where like they can't, go to the police or anything. They're like stuck somewhere. Someone has like sort of abducted them, but they've reached out to you on like, instant message. And I think because it was a game jam, we actually developed it with like a Windows interface. So it looks like Discord and it looks like, you have Paint launched and something else. And they're just describing their surroundings, and it's a text game, but it's given like a computer interface to look like you're sitting at a computer chatting with someone on Discord. And occasionally they speak in like broken English, and there's a Google Translate window where you take like what they're saying and you got to translate it to like figure out what they're talking about. And there's like a Microsoft Paint window where You don't have to draw it; it draws it for you. But it's basically like you're drawing out the map as they describe their surroundings, so you can help them try to find their way out of the place.
Very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick game, and like I said, it was a game jam, so it was like, the Philly dev community. We went there, and the theme of the game jam was words, which is what gave me the idea of like, okay, like somebody's giving you words, and you have to figure out how to help them just with that, and then even sometimes the words they're giving you don't know, so you got to try to figure out what that, put it together and help them through the situation.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised you found that.
Well, when doing a little bit of research on your website, you guys have only made 2 games, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know what? I forgot I listed it on the website.
Yep.
You're right.
Well, that's awesome. That sounds so. I'm big into these Wales interactive games, interactive movies, things like that. And that sounds like something that
Dark Pictures
that would be
anthology
actually
style
really cool
stuff.
to play. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so there's not very much like graphical activity going on. It's mostly text based, but yeah, check it out if you want to. That one's free on itch.io.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on. Type
Thanks
3
for having us.
Studios.
Yep. Thank you.
You guys are listening. We'll put all the links to all of y'all stuff, to your Steam page, all that stuff in the bio for this episode. If you're listening, guys, check it out on Steam, Super Marxist Twins. Shout out to Kalai for reaching out to making contact with you guys and having you on. So we definitely appreciate your time. We wish you the best of luck with your game, man. And if, the next thing you guys got coming on, you just let us know and you can come on and talk with us.
That sounds awesome, man.
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, thanks again.
Absolutely.
And give our best to Kalai. Sorry we couldn't be on this episode together.
Yeah, she'll be a little bummed, but with everything going on, it's totally understandable. So
yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, definitely appreciate you guys. This has been the Loot Bros podcast. Like, share, subscribe, check out the Steam page, check out all the show notes, all the different links we have. We appreciate you guys, and we're out of here. All right, everybody, we're going to end the show with a song that I wrote. This one is called The Jezebel Complex, a fun song that I got to use a little bit of wah pedal in. I don't get to do that very often, and this is just kind of one of my favorites as far as guitar riff goes and things like that. This is for my little side project, RPD, Resurrection Pending Death. And just kind of a little update. I will be putting those songs on Spotify very soon. So here you go, The Jezebel Complex.